Hello everyone, this is just a quick video for Module 15. So Module 15 and 16 are your final for the class. It is divided into two modules, however, they will be both open at the same time, so you can complete them in any order. They are in this particular order for a reason, and that is because I think that's the easiest way to complete them. Also, Module 16 is shorter because we have to end in the middle of the week because Allen classes end, I think, on Wednesday. So that we'll just kind of go over real fast what you're doing for Module 15, and then I'll make another video for Module 16. So you can see Module 15 is pretty short. All you have is this one assignment, which is our final review discussion board. And this is, instead of having you do an essay question for the final like you've done for your other exams in the class, you're going to do a discussion board, and this is more collaborative. And the reason I put this first is obviously because discussion boards, they don't necessarily take as long to write, but it does take a while for someone to post their original post so that you can make your response post. So that's the only issue that some students find. That's why it's first, and that is just so that we have those posts in there so that students can do their responses. So you're basically going to pick your two favorite pieces that you have looked at this semester. They can be any two works from the textbook. You can do obviously preferably ones that were assigned to you to read, but really any work from the textbook will work for this assignment. So if your favorite poem is in the book, but we didn't actually have to read it, it wasn't assigned to you to read, you can still put it in here. And basically you're just going to create a post, and you're going to do two posts, one for each of your works that you want to present. And make sure that they are posted separately because students won't be able to respond to them individually if you post them together. So make sure that you have two posts for your original posts, and then that will allow responses. So in your initial post, you're going to tell us what work you're writing about, and then author, title, page number, that kind of thing, so we can see where it is in the textbook. You want to tell us a little bit of why you liked it, and then the theme of the piece. So theme is something that we've discussed for short stories, poems, and plays. So we've looked at theme throughout the semester. That's one of the terms that we really can use for all genres of literature. So we want to use that. You're going to explain that, at least a sentence explaining the theme in your own words, and then just major literary devices that you see being used. If you're struggling with this part, I would recommend seeing what chapter it's in. So, if you're reading this short story and it's in the chapter on symbolism, then obviously it's a good example of symbolism. And so the symbols should be pretty strong. But you can also do things like most of the works have questions after them. And often those questions will kind of show you what you should be thinking about as a student after reading that. So that might help you as well, but it could also be anything that you notice. There's no necessarily wrong answer to these. So we're really I'm looking to see, did you learn something this semester? Can you make some connections to some of the things that were big aspects of this class? Response posts, you will do 3, and each response post you can do one of 2 options. It doesn't matter necessarily how many responses a post has, but your response needs to be unique. So your first option is to just provide 2 links to something that is connected to the work. So what I would do is, pick the works that really stood out to you, even if it wasn't your favorite, one that you have some good understanding of, and then you want to provide 2 links to 2 different sources, not synopsis or explanations of the work. We want something connected to it. So it might be a link to something about the author. It might be a link to something about the time period. That's pretty popular option, is like finding something, if this is a poem written during the Romantic time period, you could look at that, but you could also look at just that time period that the author was living and that kind of thing. So anything related to the work itself that's not just an explanation of the work. You could also do videos. It doesn't matter if it's a website or a video. We're just looking to kind of expand our understanding of the content of the work. And then the second option, if that doesn't appeal to you, the second option is to actually just post two similar works from the textbook. So that's more of a comparison thing. You'll put the author in the title and then explain why they're similar. It does not matter whether you have works that are in the same genre or not. So you could do, if you see some connections between a poem and a short story, or a play and a short story, but be thinking about like things that you might have thought of as you were doing your comparison essay. So this is similar. We're just looking for a piece that has some connections that you can put in there. So that's your discussion board. It should not take you too terribly long. The main thing is just getting in there and getting those initial posts done so that your peers can do their response posts. So if you have any questions as you are doing this, feel free to send me an email. Otherwise, have a great week.